Every kind of art has its own language. For example, a painting uses colors and paints to communicate with its audience, whereas literature uses words to evoke strong feelings in its readers. When witnessing amazing works of masters, people can fully immerse into their world and dive into fantasies. And music usually has the strongest impact. Music inspires people, fills their souls with light. The richness and power of art has no limits. Kazakh people's art and culture, customs and traditions are priceless national treasures. Local masters try to preserve and pass on the heritage to future generations. This was the case in the family of Aizhan Tlenbek.
Еще с детства мне рассказывали, у моей мамы был браслет такой казахский.
My mother had a yellow-silver Kazakh bracelet, which was supposed to fit a very narrow, small hand. When I was a child, I used to try it on all the time, but it didn't fit my hand any longer when I grew up. My mom explained that the bracelet was so small because it was made especially for her when she was a child herself. The material used to make the bracelet is actually quite unique. It was a fork handle. During the times of Kazakh famine, her family had 2 forks that they exchanged for grain. They detached the handle from the fork and kept it as a memento. Later, it was turned into a bracelet, and there's only one left now.
Кому-то сделали такой браслет, он один остался.
Aizhan used to play with the bracelet all the time, and it always attracted her attention. As it usually happened with girls at her age, she adored jewelry. Whenever she put it on, it gave her an opportunity to feel as a dazzling Saka princess.
У моей бабушки по отцу Аженьки, у нее брат один.
My grandmother from father's side had a brother who was a jeweler. I knew he graduated from Mukhina Art Academy back in the 1930s.
И всегда как-то, такая была о нем аура такая очень, как-то статусная такая, вот.
He always exuded confidence and finesse and was the talk of the town. But as a little girl, I wasn't particularly interested in all that.
У меня был такой интерес, как у всех девочек, наверное, вот к украшениям. А потом, когда уже позже я стала учиться...
As many other girls my age, I was attracted to jewelry, of course. Later, when I was at school, I attended an art studio. I was fond of drawing, and I was really good at it. Eventually, I graduated from a university majoring in fashion design. I started working at a factory as a garment designer, but in 1996, the factory was closed. During the perestroika, many light industry companies closed. It was impossible to get a job in my line of work, so I had to try something new.
В Казахстане практически обанкрочено. И я пошла работать.
I learned computer graphics and started working as a designer in a printing company. After that, I went on maternity leave.
А потом уже ушла в декрет.
Upon returning from maternity leave, Aizhan started making kids' footwear. It was a very difficult and time-consuming endeavor. After having her 3rd child, Aizhan decided to quit and do something that truly inspired her. She took a course taught by Ilya Kazakov, a famous Kazakh jeweler, holder of the UNESCO Seal of Excellence, and the Michael Perkhin, Order of the Fabergé Memorial Foundation.
Я увидела в 2019 году, что он набирает курс в Караганде учеников.
In 2019, he was about to teach a course in Karaganda, and I enrolled immediately. I made my first ring, and we have been in touch ever since. I always participate in his master classes.
4 года мы общаемся, дружим. Я к нему периодически езжу на мастер-класс.
Then Aizhan began to create her own unique jewelry that was recognized by famous masters. She started participating in exhibitions and competitions and selling her pieces.
Это были серьги Наурыз, которые я сделала в коллаборации с поставщиком японского жемчуга.
These were Nauruz earrings, which were designed in collaboration with the supplier of Japanese pearls. They had the idea of demonstrating pearls in the national Kazakh design. The earrings are cone-shaped, a little reference to national Kazakh saukele. The bottom part is made of golden pearls and symbolizes the sun.
Морей, он символизирует солнце, а сам конус состоит из двух частей. Нижняя часть – это ласточки.
The cone itself consists of two parts. Swallows in the lower part carry the sun on their wings to the tree crown. The tree is also a sacred part of the ornament and is decorated with small golden flowers. That's why the earrings got a name Nauruz, because of the concept of swallows carrying good news to the sun. They were made in a single copy.
Застежкой. Вот они были выполнены в одном экземпляре.
Aizhan already has some incredible pieces that brought her fame. This is the ring Alakol. The product repeats the outlines of the famous lake Alakol, and the ornament eloquently recounts the history of the region.
На орнаменте, который верхнюю пластину украшает,
I've incorporated flora and fauna of the lake in the ornament. There are snakes, pelicans, and other animals inhabiting the area. It's surrounded by some elements of national ornaments and even alakol pebbles. I've also added silhouettes of horsemen to the composition. They represent the battle with the Jungar people that took place in that area. As a result, we have this unique design and coherent composition. The ring is shaped as a hollow ball with 50 silver balls inside that produce noise. Silver is of sacral significance to Kazakhs. It is believed that the noise from the objects placed in the cavity of the ball drove away evil thoughts and spirits.
злых духов.
Although jewelers are skilled in dealing with any material, silver is the primary material traditionally used by Kazakh masters. There were many techniques of metal processing: casting, forging, stamping, minting, notching, engraving, filigree, and others. The most popular types of women's jewelry were all kinds of bracelets, rings, signet rings, pendants, and earrings. Men's jewelry predominantly consisted of signet rings and weapons. Kazakhs also used to decorate clothes and objects with jewelry.
Золото, оно символ достатка, успеха.
By all means, gold is a symbol of wealth and success, but silver has protective properties. Kazakhs always used to decorate their daughters' hair with silver, using it as an amulet. It's a noble metal which has matte appearance and doesn't look ostentatious, which is why it combines really well with matte materials and opaque minerals. Kazakhs used to combine silver with such minerals as turquoise, carnelian, agate, coral, and many others. However, silver wasn't used just as jewelry for women. It was also widely used to adorn many objects in people's everyday life. For example, harnesses, saddles, and chests. Nomads assigned silver a special role within the house. It served as an important amulet.
Такой вот, как оберег в доме.
Perhaps for the same reason, it was common for Kazakh women to wear 2, 3, or even 4 signet rings. People believed that a woman should not cook without her silver rings. There's even a Kazakh proverb that says, the hand must have a ring in order for the meal to be clean. Girls from wealthy families had their fingers completely studded with rings. The rings were often arranged in the style of bis bilezik, that is a single set combining a bracelet and several rings. Together with silver, jewelry masters used semi-precious stones: jasper, chalcedony, amethyst, turquoise, carnelian, coral, as well as precious stones, topazes, pearls, rubies. Kazakh masters often call the inserts of stones köz, which in Kazakh means eye. It's an all-seeing, omnipotent eye, giving strength, support and protection.
У нас, грубо говоря,
We have 4 major directions. The Western Kazakhstan school is strictly symmetrical. The southern one mastered enameling. The north is famous for the Nielo technique, while the eastern school uses Scythian Saka style.
У нас очень богатое наследие. И хотелось бы не просто вот информации сухой, где там из чего сделано, кто автор.
We have a rich heritage, and it would be great to create a story. Not just any story, but a fairy tale. So I propose to publish a book where each fairy tale will be illustrated by jewelry pieces.
Работы прям конкретного мастера.
Each piece of jewelry always has a story to be told, and these stories are different. Aizhan wrote them down. One of them is called "Why Does a Fir Tree Have Thicker Branches on One Side?" It delivers a story about the protective power of silver. There is a sentence that encapsulates a huge philosophical meaning of this metal. She wore silver rings on her fingers and never took them off. As long as she shielded her children with her hands, no one in the world could tear them from under her protection.
Сказки казахских зергеров — это
The tales of Kazakh Zirger are not a collection of stories that I gathered from others. Those are my original stories that I've been writing for 2 years. At the moment, there are 7 tales in electronic version. I share these stories with my colleagues and we discuss them together. The idea was born a year ago when I realized that there's a story behind every piece of jewelry. However, not every master shares them. Some people subconsciously create pieces without understanding what moves them at that moment. Communicating with fellow jewelers, I realized how creative and warm this community is, and how bright these people are. I'm inspired by their talent, and there's so much I could learn from them. Everyone has a story. When we go to exhibitions, there's usually nothing informative to show people except for the artworks themselves. The visitors don't have an opportunity to learn more about the art pieces. So, this is another reason why I wanted to publish a book to share these beautiful stories with people.
информации.
The Central Asia Incubator awarded Aizhan Tlenbek the Grand Prix for her amazing idea about jewelers' stories. Jewelry art exhibitions take place frequently. This is a wonderful opportunity for Kazakhstan's residents and guests to enjoy the modern jewelry art masterpieces. While for the jewelers and researchers themselves, it's a chance to get inspired with ideas, see unusual forms, and get acquainted with new technologies.